LPNs, RPNs, can you work in the UK? You guys have been asking for a comparison video. You guys have been wondering whether LPNs, RPNs can work in the UK as nurses, and if not, what would be the equivalent of that? So I've got this for you guys. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nurse Nyamouch and I'm an overseas nurse working and living in the UK. So I'm originally from Canada. For those of you guys who don't know me, I did my education, my nursing school in Canada, and shortly after I moved to the UK to pursue my life here. Being here, there's been some differences and some changes, and I know you guys love those differences and you love to hear what those are. So today I'm going to do a comparison video for you, comparing what LPNs and RPN, the job role of LPNs and RPNs in Canada, and what is their equivalents here in the UK. And also, a lot of you guys are wondering if LPNs and RPNs can come and work here in the UK. If this sounds like a video that you are interested in, watch till the end to find out if you can work here in the UK as an LPN RPN. So guys, before we get started, we're just going to clarify these terms LPN/RPN, just because I don't want to keep saying LPN/RPN throughout the whole entire video. Licensed practical nurses, LPNs. Majority of provinces in Canada use LPN, whereas in Ontario, the province of Ontario uses the word RPN, registered practical nurses. The purpose of this video, I am also referring to RPNs, but we're just going to say LPNs to make it easy. So when we look at the Canadian nursing system or the Canadian nursing education, there are two different streams of nursing that people can go into in Canada. And I believe this is kind of the same in America, and there's other countries that do this as well. So in Canada, the two nursing streams are going to be your LPN program or your registered nurse program, so your RN program. So your RN program is typically a 4-year university degree, and typically it's taken at a university or in collaboration with some kind of college, and the university basically oversees that. So once finishing that 4-year degree program, you would become a registered nurse. The next thing is your LPN program. So your LPN program is a 2-year program, and this is typically undertaken at a college. By the end of this 2-year program, you would be achieving your diploma in nursing, and this would allow you to practice as a nurse with the LPN license or the LPN name. These two types of nurses do differ in scope of practice depending on what can be done and cannot be done. I'm not sure if this is the proper way to explain it, but this is what I was told in nursing school, so please leave me a comment down below. What are your thoughts and what are you thinking? Basically, in nursing school, it was explained to us that RNs would typically deal with the unstable patients, patients that had risk of, just going off, and, you wouldn't really understand what was happening with them. Whereas RPNs would be typically dealing with the more stable patients and more predictable patients, essentially. RNs typically would be dealing with more acutely ill patients, and then RPNs would not be dealing with dealing with patients with a lower acuity and stuff like that. And I believe as a result of that, they typically would be carrying on a larger workload, in that how many patients they are caring for would be an increase compared to their counterparts RNs. LPNs, RPNs would be taking on their own patient loads just like anybody else. They are registered nurses, so they have that responsibility. They are registered with the regulatory body, whether it's CNO. If you are an RPN or LPN, let me know in the comments what are the differences that you can or cannot do, as well as just give us a little insight as well on your job role. So if we move across the pond all the way to the UK, the UK is a little bit different and it's a little bit tricky. So when I first moved here, and I was a registered nurse from an overseas, and I was under the process of getting my license to become a fully registered nurse, I worked as something called an associate practitioner. Now, if you've seen my other video, I'll link it here or here. It was talking about the different band systems. So a registered nurse here in the UK would be a band 5, And then, so the job role that I did was an associate practitioner. That was a band 4. Now that job as an associate practitioner, I didn't need to be registered with the regulatory body of NMC. All I had to do was prove that I had the qualifications behind me and the skill sets, and then also that I was in the process of becoming a nurse. So they were allowed me to work as a band 4 associate practitioner for that year until my license and registrations came over. Now there is another job role here in the UK that has just started to make its way around, and at the trust that I worked at, I saw this job role being put into place. Now the job role is called a nursing associate. So nursing associate is a new job role that was introduced by the NMC, or is it the UK government, NHS? I think it was introduced in 2015 just to kind of help alleviate the stresses from the nurses and stuff like that, just because before these job roles were introduced, and I believe the associate practitioner job role was also probably introduced around the same time. But before these job roles were introduced, you would have your healthcare aides and then your registered nurses. So there was no gap between these job roles. So therefore, in 2015, they came up with the idea, or this new job of associate practitioners as well as nursing associates. So for the purpose of this video, to make the best comparison between LPNs, RPNs, I'm going to talk about nursing associates. Even though I did not work as one, I know, looking at the research I've done and also the my colleague that I worked with, I can talk about this just a little bit more to give you that comparison. Nursing associate would be doing their regular assessments, so going through their ADPI and such with their patients. Nursing associates are able to also administer all oral medications with no issues and no supervision. With the appropriate training, they can do certain skills like venipuncture as well as cannulations if they have that training behind them. Let's talk differences. Nursing associates and registered nurses. Nursing associates are not able to do initial assessments on their patients, and that would be something that would be under the responsibility of a registered nurse. Now, if you are a nursing associate, let me know in the comments if that is applicable or if that is true. Other differences is the administrations of IV medications as well as intramuscular medications. That's something that nursing associates cannot do and would have to delegate that to the RN that they are working with. I know in regards to administrations of IV medications, that's something that's a little bit iffy. Even nurses, there are even nurses that can't do that. So how does somebody become a nursing associate? So the nursing associate is actually a 2-year foundational diploma or degree program, and it is typically taken under an apprenticeship. So the good thing is a lot of people that work as healthcare aides, as it's being rolled out, are given the opportunity to start undergoing this apprenticeship program to get their nursing associate foundation degree here. So that's the good thing about that. So as you undergo this apprenticeship, my understanding is that you would still be able to do your hours or certain reduced hours as your typical band that you are. So maybe band 2 or 4, whichever band you are, you would work maybe 1 or 2 shifts a week. The other 2 days or so you would be in education. And the whole apprenticeship program, the whole nursing associate apprenticeship program is paid for by the hospital or by the trust you are with, while they are also paying you the hours that you are working. Sounds like a win-win situation. Upon completing the nursing associate program as well, you would become registered with the NMC, and you would be required to adhere to NMC policies and regulations. So just like a registered nurse would, you would also have to go through your revalidation process with the NMC, also paying your yearly annual fee for the NMC and stuff, and you will have, I believe, some sort of PIN or some kind of license and registrations with the NMC. So let's answer the big question that a lot of you guys have been asking, and that is, as an LPN RPN, can I work in the UK as a registered nurse? Now, because this new job role as an associate practitioner slash nursing associate is being introduced and being phased into the workplaces within the NHS and within the, healthcare industry here in England, I believe that your job role will soon be able to transfer. Now, the short answer is no. Unfortunately, as an LPN or RPN, you are not able to currently work as a registered nurse in the UK. So unfortunately, it is not recognized. So the LPN license is not recognized here. So therefore, it's not able to be transferred into a license here in the UK. However, that doesn't mean that things aren't going to change, especially because now that they've introduced the Nursing Associate program, it might not be long until they recognize that yes, you've done an LPN program, so therefore you can now jump and bridge into that nursing associate program, especially because nursing associates now are being a part of the NMC registrations and such. For people going into nursing school, if you do have a desire to travel the world, or if you do want to move around and such like that, I would recommend you doing your RN program. It is challenging, it is longer, but if you have that desire to move around, especially around the world, that would give you that opportunity to go to various different countries and register as a nurse there, as well as work as a nurse there, as long as you pass the registration process. Guys, that's the end of that video in comparing LPN RPNs against the nursing associate job role here in the UK. I hope soon that there will be an easy transfer over for those of you guys who are LPNs and RPNs. However, in the meantime, we will just wait and see. If you found this video helpful, useful, please guys don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.